Hello all! Today I will be doing a Thomas and Friends movie ranking. There will be some hot takes. But also I don't think this needs to be said, but this is just my opinion. Anyway, enjoy. Last place goes to, you guessed it, Big World Big Adventures. This movie really sucks. It only has like 2 action scenes and they're not even that good. I don't really like the part where Thomas is rude to Nia because she offered help. He had to accept her help to get up the hill. Because he couldn't get up it himself. The movie totally ditches trains doing train things. I think that's the main reason I hate this movie. There is only one positive aspect I can think of, and it's that Thomas finds out Ace is a bad influence, and Thomas just leaves him and he doesn't get his redemption. F ranking. This movie sucks. Ranking F. Misty Island Rescue. Oh dear, oh dear. What can I even say for this god-awful movie? Well, first, the logging locos suck. They're not the worst part of the movie because everyone else is stupid. Anyway, the movie starts with the fat cow. I mean controller wanting to build a rescue center. There is a tunnel that leads to Misty Island and the fat cow wants to build his office there. And he asks Whip to tell him about this tunnel. Later Thomas is a jerk to Diesel and sets up some arc between them two. Diesel loses the logs like an idiot and yeah. They put Thomas on a raft to go to the mainland but ends up at Misty Island. The fat cow sends 3 of his engines on a boat, and 2 in that tunnel, and they find him. Yay, happy ending anyway. Next. Ranking F+. Day of the Diesels. This movie is just a snore fest. Percy can't choose what side, Steamies or Diesels, and Thomas tells him the Diesels will play him. He picks the Diesels and they do just that. Play him. They need him to open the Steamworks doors for some reason, and at the end fat controller yells at them to work together to rebuild the Diesel works. And they do that for the last 2 minutes of the film, you know, D-. Now we're getting into the not-so-bad movies, so let's move on. Next is King of the Railway. I don't hate this movie, I just don't really like the story they were going for positives. Stephen is a good character and I like Ulfsted. The Earl has a big plan to rebuild the castle, which was very obvious, but I don't have much else to say. But the thing with Soder's history is nice in the mine scene. Calling all engines. The Steamy versus Diesel conflict is done way better here. The crashes were kinda weak but still fun to watch. The learning segments that talk down to babies is not good. But I have some sort of nostalgia for this movie. Anyway, that's kind of it. As I said, hot takes will be featured. But next is The Great Discovery. I don't really like Pierce Brosnan as a narrator, but the story is quite nice. There is a new engine on Soder named Stanley. And Thomas takes a big dislike to Stanley. By the end, Thomas appreciates him, and Great Waterton is a good location, and some scenes were weird in my opinion. But alright movie, C-. Wait, no, C+. Next up is The Great Race. In my last movie video it was third to last, but now I appreciate what it represents. As I rewatched it, some scenes were dull but mainly too fast-paced. The introduction of the international engines were nice. Half of the movie was focused on Sodor and stupid Thomas, but once we get to the show it is very short and rushed anyway. Let's move on. Thomas and the Magic Railroad. This movie is not much better. The whole magic thing they have is stupid. The main reason I have it up here is because nostalgia, but I can't let that blind me. Burnett Stone has to fix Lady. Diesel 10 is incredible. Lady is alright, same with Splodge. Lady makes the gold dust, which Mr. Conductor needs to get back to shining time. Lily and Patch are, you know. Let's move on. Next is Journey Beyond Sodor. I don't really like this movie because it's very boring. Anyway, so James was gonna go to the mainland, but Thomas steals the cars. Then Thomas goes to the mainland. He goes to the steelworks, gets imprisoned, blah blah blah. This movie is alright. I made an editing mistake. I meant to put The Great Race in Journey Beyond Soder place, so JPS is in The Great Race's spot. Next is Hero of the Rails. This movie is actually really good. Thomas finds Hero. They find parts to fix him. Spencer doesn't like this and tries to of him. They fix Hero and yay, happy ending. Tale of the Brave is next. This movie introduces Gator and Timothy. They are good characters in my opinion. So this movie is good. The movie starts with Thomas's part, then Percy, and then James. I don't remember it movie that much, but I remember it was good. Time for the really good movies. The adventure begins. Do I even need to explain why this movie is great? It's amazing. I won't go into depth, but it's just a retelling of the first few railway series. And they adapted them so perfectly. Next is Soder's Legend of the Lost Treasure. Wow, just wow, a whole movie on the Great Western. That was unexpected to say the least. I rewatched this a few months ago and it was great. This is I think the most mad the Fat Controller gets at Thomas. Ryan is a new character and he is pretty good, same with Skiff. Sailor John was obviously gonna be the villain, but other than that, that's pretty much it. Great movie, a plus. If you have been keeping track, you should know what this is. Number 1 goes to Blue Mountain Mystery. Is this really even a contest? This movie without a doubt, dare me say it, is the best movie in the franchise. I can't even find words that can describe how good this movie is. So Thomas goes to the quarry because Paxton got into an accident, so he takes his place. He finds out about this new engine named Luke and he wants to know more about him, so he asks the narrow gauge engines. And these tell him about Luke. All the main engines are reduced to one major role. Thomas asks them all what is the worst thing they have ever done to get sent away from Sodor. Andrew Brenner helped out with this movie. Maybe that's why it's so good. Anyway, amazing movie, yes. I hope you enjoyed this video. It took me a really long time to make, so I would appreciate a like at least. If you want my final list, here it is. Worst to best. bwba, mir, kotr, tgd, jbs, tatmr, tgr, hotr, totb, tab, slotlt, bmm. Bye.